Hello and welcome to the family business. I'm Joe Castiglione Jr. Got Isaac Stoops in the house, and we've got Ryan Gaines next to me. Ryan, thanks for coming in today.
You bet. Thank you guys for having me today.
Appreciate you stopping by. You know, it's a busy season. It's a long season, and, you know, we're your midweek filler this week. This is your midweek game.
Yeah, exactly.
So thanks for coming in. Let's just start, with your background. What is your job, title, things, and then let's start off with what's something that you do that maybe not a lot of people know that's one of your roles.
Okay, well, so my title as Director of Baseball Operations, I always think that that's kind of a weird title because I'm not operating really anything, to be honest, but that's the title that everyone uses. I guess probably, my background, I guess, is I've been involved in a lot of different things. Like you guys, I went to OU, went to school there, started in 1991 as a student trainer. Played baseball growing up, was a student trainer for the football program from 91 to 95. And so I got a lot of medical background and did that for the baseball program during that time as well. So that's where I was really introduced to college baseball. My dad was a longtime high school baseball coach, so the love of baseball was always something that I was drawn to. Graduated from OU, went to work at Oral Roberts University there for a few years. Worked in the athletic department and got connected with a sporting goods company that I worked for about 7-8 years. So the medical piece, the equipment piece from sporting goods, the baseball piece, you kind of combine all those different things, and it gives me a really good appreciation for the different facets that go on in a program. People don't really understand really what goes on. It's not just the baseball part of it. There's so many different people involved in running a program. And, from academics to compliance to nutrition to strength and conditioning, I pretty much touch all of those points, whether it's the ticket office, development. Anybody who has a question about anything, I usually am the one who winds up getting asked about it.
Yeah. You're the catch-all. It's kind of cool to see that your background from a student trainer to equipment to the athletic, it kind of built you for this role.
Yeah, it really did. I mean, doing it in a different sport, I'm not sure I would be really good at it, but if you just combine all those things with the baseball part and the passion and the love I have for baseball, I feel like that's why I've stayed in this role now for 19 years.
Yeah, it definitely takes a village. That explains kind of how you got into it, your background and whatnot. Did you always want to do this, or did it kind of just happen organically like you just talked about?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that I always wanted to do it. I think that I've enjoyed doing it. I really didn't. I still don't know what I really want to do, but I do love. I do love what I'm doing, but I wouldn't say that I grew up dreaming of this role. I mean, it's evolved quite a bit since I started in this business from, pretty basic, taking care of travel. And, everybody thinks you just do travel. I can do travel in my sleep. But the different things that have happened, that there's always something new every year, every day. As college athletics has evolved, it's just something new that there's always a challenge, and I love trying to conquer those type of challenges.
There's a lot of challenges right now.
Yeah.
Every day is a new one. It brings up a new one in the world of college athletics. You've also been through a couple, actually, would it be 4 head coaches you've been here through?
Well, yeah, I worked as a student trainer under Larry Koshel. So, yes, I've worked for the past 4 head coaches here at Oklahoma. And, I've learned a ton from each one of those guys and assistant coaches. I mean, there's been some really successful assistant coaches that have that I've had an opportunity to work with and friends with that are now head coaches. Talk to those guys, that are now head coaches. When they leave to go be a head coach, a lot of them don't know. They know the baseball side of things, right? You look at a guy like Clay Van Hook, who went to the University of Texas Arlington after we got back from Omaha, and I talked to him more when he was at UTA than I did when he was at OU, just because he had a ton of questions about the ins and outs of a daily operation, or questions about scheduling or things of that nature. A lot of those guys kind of have an understanding of how to navigate scholarships, but maybe not necessarily budgets and travel and equipment and things of that nature. So maintain a lot of good relationships with those guys, and we bounce things off each other, and it's been good for me.
A lot of people don't understand. Is it 11.1 scholarships? Or what?
Yeah, it's 11.7.
11.7 scholarships. So, for an entire baseball team, you have 11.7 total scholarships to spread out. So it's completely different than football. You're just giving everybody a full ride that's on scholarship, so you're navigating that.
Yeah.
Too as well.
Yeah, that 0.7 that's just like I guess not a full ride. You get whatever percentage of the.
Yeah. So you can have 32 guys on scholarship, and each one of them has to be on at least 25% of one scholarship.
Okay.
So if you take what does a full scholarship look like, you hit the nail on the head. What a full scholarship is what a football player or a basketball player might be on. So that's 25% of one of those. So you get to cut up the piece of pie into 32 pieces, and that's what you come out with.
It's a puzzle. It's something to keep in mind too each year when players turn down draft deals to come back. I mean, it means a lot because they may not be on full scholarship. It's different now with NIL per se. But back to the head coaches thing real fast. I wanted to ask one thing. What's one thing that Skip Johnson has taught you over 3 years, or what's something that you've noticed how the way he leads the program that may be different than the ones before?
Yeah, I would say that the one thing about Skip that most people, you hear him talk on the radio or TV or, whatever about the process, right? You hear him talk about one pitch at a time and things of that nature. The mental game is such a big thing in baseball. I mean, it is in all sports, but, the rate of failure that happens in baseball is astronomical. So he brought that stuff that he learned from the all-time winningest coach in college baseball was Augie Garrido at Texas, and he learned that from a mental guy by the name of Ken Revisa, who is now passed. But the mental game is the one thing that I would say that I've learned the most about, and probably the other thing is just caring about people. I mean, Skip. What you see is what you get with Skip. I mean, who he is on camera or on the radio, or that's who he is. But he's been incredibly great to me, my family. He's just an incredibly good human being. He goes out of the way. I mean, you two guys know better than anybody that what a head coach goes through and or an athletic director goes through and what that does and has the impact on your families, right? Mm-hmm. So, Skip has always encouraged us to go and be involved with our kids and our families and be involved in all that stuff, and that's not normal, and that I have a great appreciation and respect for him for that.
Yeah, I mean, that definitely is something that that we can resonate with, and that I feel like is super important, and like especially like it makes a great head coach when he's cares about more than just the sport itself, cares about your guys' families as much as, or you guys seeing them as much as you do, you know what I mean? Like that definitely makes a difference in the culture.
Yeah, for sure.
You spoke a little bit about the mental game that Skip is, deployed on his teams, and you kind of see that as a microcosm of this team this year. So this year, they've had a lot of highs. They've had a couple points where, most notably maybe the Lamar series, or even last week, losing 3 games in a row. What's about that mindset that's allowed them to bounce back time after time and shown this resiliency?
I really think it's just consistency with the plan. I mean, there's never any deviation. I mean, you hear him talk about winning and learning, right? So that truly is it's not just a moniker. It's literally every single day. It's when they show up in August, it's preached, and there's never any panic. There's it's just a consistent approach. It's a consistent approach amongst the whole staff. We have a really good group of nucleus of older players that have been around for a while that have been able to preach that to the younger guys, and so you just don't really see much panic. I think that's the most important thing.
It's extremely apparent. I mean, at each point, they take one game at a time, one series at a time, and it looks like they just haven't skipped a beat at times.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch.
Having a majority of the season, already completed, what would you say some, team goals are as of right now? Which, I mean, you're speaking to the process, so maybe it is just, one day at a time for you guys, but.
Yeah, I mean, sounds so simple, but it's literally about just winning pitches. I mean, there's a lot of pitches thrown in a game, right? So offense, defense, if you just break it down to that and just try to win the pitch, and then when the game's over with, the result's going to be what it is. You can't control what that outcome's going to be. If you just take that mindset to every single game, if you can get to that level, like if you can get your team to do that, you're going to be successful. So, I mean, I would say that continuing to just buy into that process is what the goal is. I mean, you can look at outcomes all you want. You can say, oh, well, if we win this many games, we can do this, or we can host this, or whatever. But you get asked those questions a lot, and from outside, influences, whether it's your parents, the media, or whatever, gets guys thinking about the outcome. So the goal would be just to really take it one pitch at a time, and just continue to do what we've been doing.
I'll take that mindset because I'm already thinking about this weekend. And I may be counting games on the standings, the Big 12 standings. I mean, big series ahead this weekend. Probably one of the bigger series in Elldale in a long time, with Baylor coming up.
What you said just kind of reminds me of what my coach always told me, that the joy is in the journey, not always the destination. You know what I mean? And that's definitely something that I ended up finding true when you look back on it. I guess, I mean, what's some of your favorite maybe memories or moments or even players, along your journey? Because you've had quite the journey here with Oklahoma.
Yeah, the things that bring me joy are things like a guy like Diego Muniz, who is the first guy to graduate college from his family, and what that means to him and what that meant to his family. That's why I keep doing what I'm doing. The winning and the losing, if you just focused on that, there's no way I would continue to do this job. It'd be miserable. The guys who wind up leaving Oklahoma, making it to the major leagues, will wind up having successful careers. Those are obviously the easy thing to think of, right? But it's the guy who, like a guy this weekend, Anthony McKenzie. He's going to be getting his college degree. It's something that I'm not sure that when he came to Oklahoma, that was the first thing on his mind was, going to play professional baseball, and just seeing him grow as a man and taking that responsibility and understanding how important that is to have that degree. Those are the things that are obviously cool. From a playing standpoint, obviously 2022 was a really special group of guys, and was really talented, but they worked extremely hard. They bought into the process, and just that journey of going to Gainesville and winning that regional, and then going to Virginia Tech in front of a packed house and winning those games there, and those are the things that you remember.
No doubt.
Speak a little bit more on Omaha, just in general, and we talked about it a little bit off air, but kind of what Omaha means. I mean, a lot of people, the goals for this team is a little bit different, but a lot of people put Omaha, as that endpoint and as that goal. But just talk about Omaha a little bit. You talked about how, because if you kept winning games, you're able to spend time there, and so just kind of talk about like what that place means for baseball, and just kind of maybe your experience, off the field there in 2022 or 2010.
I mean, it's a special place, right? It's the city of Omaha, the state of Nebraska have embraced that into that's everyone's destination to get to, right? I will tell you that in 2022, the mindset was different for that team and has changed. I would say since Reggie Willett showed up at Oklahoma. We talked about going to Omaha a lot, and he was kind of the one guy who said, "I'm not interested in going to Omaha. I want to win the national championship." So when we got to Omaha, our team wasn't really caught up in the being there part. It was cool, being there and get to experience the ballpark there and everything that surrounds that. It's kind of like the Field of Dreams meets the Oklahoma State Fair, right? I mean, those are the kind of surroundings of that. But no one, when we got there, was satisfied with being there. It was about winning the national championship, and we played for a national championship. We fell short of winning that, obviously, and everyone left there feeling miserable, to be honest with you, because we didn't achieve our goal. And I would say that mindset is the one thing that I would say that we have embraced that every day now, and it's not about going to Omaha. It's a great destination, but you're there to play for a national title.
It was a tough one to swallow. I'll say that. I was depressed on the drive home. Maybe not. On the players, though, a lot of special players have gone through a lot that you've seen. But talk about maybe the dual sport athletes. So we had Cody Thomas at one point, and forgive me if I miss any, but Cody Thomas and then Kyler, and then there's actually a couple more football signees or one that's already on campus with James Nesta and Taylor Tatum. But just talk about maybe your role and the coach's role of managing that schedule. It's already hard enough to be a student athlete for one sport, but let alone two sports. So what's the mindset with that and managing the schedules and managing their mindset, their academics still at the end of the day. So what all goes into that and what role?
Yeah, so obviously Kyler was one of the first ones that comes to mind, right? Cody Thomas, I guess, was really before him. Mm-hmm. And Cody was the one that we got to experience it with. And it has changed as well because everyone's been different. Your dad was a head coach at one point in time when Cody was here. So the head coaches have to be able to really collaborate. So it really starts at that level of the commitment that each head coach makes. So we've gone from Coach Stoops to Lincoln to now Coach Venables. So every one of them has been a little different. There's been different offensive coordinators as well. Mm-hmm. So the demands on the quarterback, it's what we're really talking about with those two guys, was different. So my part is really managing those 20 hours a week that they get to be with us and not overdoing it with them. Like, everybody wants to take the Porsche and drive it as fast as they can, right? So you got these high-level elite athletes. So, the football program wants to be immersed with that athlete, and the baseball program wants to be immersed with that athlete, but they're also a student. They also have a social life. Mm-hmm. So you got to take all of those things and really kind of the strength coaches are a big part of that as well, is just knowing, what their level of exhaustion is. I can remember vividly Kyler Murray playing in practicing a spring football practice. It was the first day of spring football practice, and it was on a Saturday morning. And so we went out and practiced, and we had a doubleheader against Texas A&M Corpus Christi that day. So Kyler gets to the field after practice, doesn't take BP, goes in the batting cage, plays in the game. We're up by a decent amount, and Skip's like, "Hey, I'm going to take you out of the game." Of course, Kyler, he doesn't want to come out of the game. He's like, "No, I'm fine. Skip's like, "No, you're coming out of the game. Come out of the game." I go up into the clubhouse and check on him just to, make sure he got food and things of that nature. And he's passed out asleep on the couch. And so, that just kind of gives you an idea of the energy level he expends. And, of course, he didn't want to come out of the game. He was probably 3 for 4 that day. He wakes up, starts the next game, plays that whole game. So just the mental side of it, the time management side of it is unique. I can also recall a time with Kyler where we had a football practice on a Friday morning. He was flown to Fort Worth to play in a game on Friday night. Hits a big home run off of Major Leaguer Nick Lodolo now, which you probably saw him post about that recently.
It was hilarious.
So what people don't know is that after that game was over with, he flew back to Norman, practiced football on Saturday morning, and then drove back and played in our game on Saturday and Sunday in Fort Worth. So just scheduling all those things and making sure that I picked him up at an airport a time or two, put him on a plane a time or two. Those are really the things that are easy to do, but just knowing what their energy level is and where they are mentally is just as much about it than anything.
Yeah, I mean, as amazing of athletes they are, they can only push themselves so far, and I guess for you guys to be conscious of that, because a lot of high level athletes like him are competitors, and they don't want to come out.
Yeah, they don't want to come out of the game. They want to play. They're there. They don't understand. Hey, why am I not playing? They don't understand why they get taken out of a game. They've never been taken out of a game in their entire lives. So. Just being able to communicate those things with them and kind of giving them the plan of what that week's going to look like. You talked. We have James Nesta here with us right now, and his has been really easy because he's a pitcher. So that's the first pitcher that we've had. So we've been able to really allow him to focus on football this spring more so than we did with Kyler or Cody. So we worked our schedule around his, whereas football more worked their schedule around Kyler and Cody when they were here, just because, the quarterback is a little bit more intricate, so he's obviously a defender, but from a pitching standpoint, we can get them to throw whenever they need to. So those are all different challenges and have been pretty cool to do.
Different nuances with either. Yeah, it'd be a lot easier to go throw a bullpen here and there than...
This new kid he's a pitcher and he plays. You say defense?
Yeah, he's a linebacker.
That was going to be my next question. Is if you had been around, because obviously a quarterback with such a strong arm playing baseball kind of makes sense. But I was going to ask if you had been around any dual sports that didn't play quarterback. But there you go. That kind of answers my question.
Yeah, he's a really high-level athlete that picks up on things really quickly. I'm not sure about that, how that's translated in football, but in baseball, he's been able to repeat his delivery. That's a big thing for a pitcher, is being able to repeat your delivery, and something that Skip is really, really good at. And some kids have a hard time picking that up. They come here, they've thrown hard, they don't know why they've thrown hard or how they throw hard, they just know they throw hard. And so, but teaching them how to pitch, but he picked up on it really, really quick. And kudos to him for being able to do that, because we have had a limited amount of time with him this spring. And to watch his last live BP session that he threw last week, it was pretty impressive.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Kind of a little tidbit for next year, too,
Yeah.
as well. Also on the horizon for next year is the transition to the SEC. We can talk what all it means for all the different sports, but really in baseball, I think it, along with football, is just that next step up, because baseball is such ingrained into the SEC culture. So I know you've been around a lot of series. OU's played in Arkansas a number of times, down at the box for Louisiana State, but just talk about a little bit about the SEC culture and kind of what we're stepping into as a school.
Yeah, like you said, besides football, baseball is the sport that is followed, I think, the most in the SEC, and they have the most passion about. The stadiums are bigger, the crowds are larger, the level of athlete is going to be better. You compare it to our series with Texas and Oklahoma State. I would say Texas Tech would be another good one to compare, like going on the road in a hostile fan base that are passionate about winning national titles. Every program in the SEC is interested in winning a national title. They've invested in their programs and are followed just as close to football. I'm not sure, maybe not to that level, but it's pretty close. So it's something that we're excited to get an opportunity to compete in. It's something else that's new that we can look forward to raising the bar.
If any OU fans need a little bit of taste of SEC baseball, usually Saturday nights on the SEC network, they'll have a series on, and it is popping. Mississippi State, Vanderbilt, I mean, you can go down the list, but, shout out Zach Selman, but you watch Mississippi State, and they have a beautiful facility seating like 13K, and it is rocking.
Yeah, you can go to Arkansas, to Mississippi State, to Ole Miss, to Texas A&M, Florida, Kentucky. I mean, they're rolling right now. They're having 14,000 people come to a game. Pretty much everywhere in the SEC has stadiums that are, that can seat 10 to 12,000 people, and most of the time they're filled up on SEC weekends.
I think out of all the director of ops, I think in the SEC, I think you might have the best shoe game. I hear you have a lot of shoes.
Yeah.
How'd you get into that?
So the shoe thing is something that I told you guys. My dad was a high school coach, right? So before the internet, you actually had to go to a sporting goods store to buy things. So
you have to try it on then too.
So yeah, exactly. So whenever my dad would go to a sporting goods store in Shawnee, Oklahoma, who I eventually wound up working for, ironically, but he would be in there talking to the guy about uniforms and things, and I'm standing over at the shoe wall just staring in amazement of shoes. So I've always had a thing for shoes. Love the designs, love the storytelling that goes into shoes. And so obviously, later on, being a salesman myself and selling shoes, just understanding the kind of the lead times and the things that go into shoes and the storytelling, it's always been something that's been interesting to me. And then now, the shoe part of it really all comes down to recruiting. I'm 51 years old. What do I have in common with an 18-year-old? I got shoes to talk to. So usually if a guy's walking in a pair of cowboy boots, I'm usually going to say, hey, Skip can talk to you about hunting, right? But if you got a pair of Jordans on, we're going to be able to connect instantly. And I would say that's the one thing that I realized several years ago, that it's always a conversation starter, whether it's a recruit, whether it's your current players. The shoe piece of it is just kind of taken on a life of its own with me and with recruiting. So that's really where it came from. I'll tell you one thing that you guys don't know, or most people don't know, that you guys know who Jerry Lorenzo is from Fear of God. So Jerry Lorenzo actually was a baseball player at Oral Roberts University when I worked there. So getting to reconnect with Jerry and talk to him about his fashion design and stuff has been something pretty cool. So, it's just all those little things like that have that most people don't know about, that is something I enjoy.
That's really cool. Didn't know that. Fun tidbit.
Yeah.
How many pairs do you think you have? If you had to guess, give me a number, because people always ask me.
And a favorite, if possible.
I would say I probably have somewhere in the 350 to 400 pairs, I would guess, of shoes. My favorite pair, I get asked that question a lot. I have a pair of Jordan 1s that were made when Derek Jeter was retiring. So I'm a big Yankee fan, love Derek Jeter, what he stands for. So I've got a pair of the Jordan 1s that have the Respect logo on it. I've worn them a couple of times. Got the Yankee pinstripe on it. That's probably my favorite pair. I'm a sucker for Jordan 1 lows. I'm a sucker for Air Max 1s. My go-to typically on a daily basis is usually a pair of Vomero 5s. Those are kind of my beater shoes, I guess, so to speak.
They're comfy though.
Yeah. So, but if I'm gonna go somewhere in public, needing to have a good pair of shoes, Jordan 1 low is probably my old man version.
Let's go back to this. 350. Do you have a whole room for these, or? Yeah, I mean, you have to, because
the boxes
I think I have like 90 to 110, and it requires like a whole wall.
So my wife and I built a home in Choctaw, Oklahoma, and we moved in in May in 2019. So when we were building the home, there was things that she had to have in the house, right? The kitchen is going to be important, right? Laundry room, all those kind of things, whatever. And my part of it was having a shoe closet. So my shoe closet's definitely bigger than my wife's. So I've got a nice space that can accommodate most of those. When it gets full, when shoes are starting to lay on the ground, my wife has a garage sale, and usually people are there the day before ready to buy whatever we might have left over. So that's basically my I'm at capacity, I think, at about 350.
Yeah, that's so crazy. I mean, OU sponsored by Jordan, but we need to get you individually sponsored by Jordan, like Sterling Shepard is, and I've seen his shoe closet or a picture of it, and it's something special.
Yeah,
sure.
so my holy grail of shoe is the Jordan 4 OU shoe. Yeah. So I know a guy that might be able to take care of that for me, but that is if I could have a pair of shoes, that is the one pair that it's on my bucket list.
It's the coolest of the customs so far. No doubt. Without a doubt.
I know a guy who I think could get you a pair of that. Not like his dad, but like I'm talking if you want to buy them.
Yeah. I'm sure you do.
We had them, and some of the players would just wear them, and I'm like, please, it's a financial decision. Do not wear them.
Yeah.
Sell them for thousands, man.
Yeah, exactly. They're just wearing them on the bus. I'm like, oh no.
It hurts my heart.
Yeah.
I'm honestly not sure I would wear them either. I have of that 350 pair of shoes I have, there's a bunch of them that I've never worn. So people probably think that's insane, but that's my hobby. I don't play golf, so I go to work and surf StockX.
Shoes have their marketplace. They have their value. They go up, they go down, and if you don't wear them, you can always flip them. So.
Yes.
Some people can collect cards. You collect shoes. Everyone has their hobby.
Yeah.
No knock on it.
Between cards and shoes is you can wear shoes.
Yeah.
Ryan, thanks for coming on today. Something that we're starting new last week was our first edition, but we just allow our guests to ask us any questions, whether it be about our dads or our upbringing. So did you have any questions for Isaac and I today? We're putting you on the spot. We never give any heads up.
We always said we were going to ask, give you a heads up before, but we've been forgetting.
We're 0-2 in that category.
All right. So both of you guys actually are former OU baseball campers. So, I was working those camps. I saw your skills. So who is your favorite baseball player, Major League Baseball player or college?
Of all time?
Of all time.
Putting me on the spot. Probably Bo Jackson, just because I thought he was just a freak of nature.
Yes.
If that counts.
Yeah. Bo is definitely in my top 5.
I'm going to give you a 2-for answer. One, I'm going to go a favorite OU baseball player.
Okay.
Really that 2010, the College World Series year was one of my favorite years. So anywhere from Tyler Ogle to Max White.
Yep.
Those guys were some dogs, that whole team. And then all time, so I'm a Royals fan. I'm a Kansas City guy, born in Missouri, Kansas City sports guy. But all time, Derek Jeter's up there. I mean, I remember him and Mariano when there was those years in between they retired. I remember watching their final games and stuff, and I thought that was so cool. So we'll go to that just because the history of the Yankees. I mean, I know where the Royals stand. We do have a championship, but I know where they stand. But just the history of the Yankees is just something that you can respect, especially with those two players.
You won my heart there. Those are two. You guys nailed 3 of my 5 right there. I mean, those are definitely some of the greatest to ever do it. So, good answers.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite? I got to ask then.
Growing up, my favorite was Don Mattingly. So Don Mattingly played first base for the Yankees, so he was. And then as I got older, Derek Jeter was just not necessarily just for Derek Jeter, the baseball player, but just Derek Jeter, the person, of what he stood for and how hard he played. And I mean, every single thing that you want to preach into a young athlete or young baseball player, Derek Jeter stood for that. And a lot of the you can look at a Bobby Witt Jr. right now that plays for Kansas City that is obviously has OU ties. I mean, he's the exact same type of way, and I love watching him play. He plays hard, runs to first base like his hair's on fire. I love that type of stuff, and so I know I kind of jumped all over the place, but Mattingly, Derek Jeter, and now Bobby Witt Jr. is definitely my favorite.
If you ever get any connects to Jeter, tell him come on the pod.
Yeah, we'll have him. We'll happily have him.
Yeah.
We'll roll out the red carpet or like the navy blue carpet, pinstripe carpet.
Yeah.
Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps us, helps put out more content, bring in more great guests like Ryan today. So remember to keep it in the family, and we'll see you next week.